Happy Tuesday and welcome to the Locked On Red Sox podcast. As always, thank you for making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day. I am your host, NESN's Lauren Campbell, and today, with the off day on Monday for the Red Sox, we have a special episode for you today. Red Sox prospect Tyler Dearden, who's with the Portland Sea Dogs, was gracious enough with his time to be able to chat with Locked On Red Sox about his journey through High-A Greenville, setting a High-A Greenville home run record, going through injuries, the canceled COVID season, and everything in between. We will bring you that episode in just a moment, but this episode is brought to you by Rock Auto, and with the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now nearly impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure often pointless or seemingly intimidating questioning and wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on their computer? You have access to Rock Auto at home and in your pocket. You can save time and money when using Rock Auto. Rock Auto's prices are reliably low for every customer. Go explore their easy-to-use website today and find the solution to your auto parts needs. Go to rockauto.com right now, see all the parts available for your car or truck. Make sure you write Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. So let's get into our interview with Red Sox outfield prospect Tyler Dearden.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We're welcoming to Locked On Red Sox outfielder for the Portland Sea Dogs and Red Sox prospect Tyler Dearden. Tyler, thank you for joining us today. And I don't know about you, but this season already is flying by.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And yeah, I know you look at the calendar, it's already June. So,
Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Sure.
So you hit 10 home runs in your first 135 games with your first team, and then you set the High-A Greenville record with 24 home runs in 2021. So was there a different approach you just kind of took at the plate, or what changed for you in 2021?
Yeah, so I think a big thing for me, honestly, was maturity and confidence. I think those are two things that kind of, away from obviously mechanical stuff and all that, maturing and understanding the game a little bit more, having a little bit more experience under my belt. And then confidence wise, being confident, every at bat, being able to separate one at bat to the next and not, letting it go for one become go for four and so on. So, for me, I think a big thing last year was telling myself that, you're always one swing away, you're always one pitch away, no matter if I was 0 for 3 or 3 for 3, just, keeping that mindset that always one swing away and, so some good things happened.
Definitely. And some of those other good things, you finished it last year, batting .261, 44 extra base hits, 73 runs scored, and 80 RBI. Can you attribute that to the confidence as well?
Yes, I think for sure. Being confident, when runners are on base, that's something that I, as a hitter, when guys are on base, you want to drive them in. So, and I think that comes with confidence, whether there's 2 outs or no outs, just playing the game situationally, sack fly, nobody runner on third or runner on second, getting a base hit and driving them in. But just, understanding the flow of the game and trying to do whatever I can to drive in runs.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you think, or kind of take us through when you got promoted from High-A Greenville to Double-A Portland?
Yeah, so, I found out in spring training this year that I was headed to Double-A. Finished full year last year in Greenville, and, I think it all worked out. I ended up, as you said, got to set the home run record there, which was pretty cool. I honestly had no idea what it was or, whatever. And I found out I tied it at one point on social media. And then, I think the next day I ended up breaking it. So it was pretty cool.
So you found out on social media that you broke the record?
Yes, I honestly didn't know what the record was. And I think the Greenville Drive put out a tweet. I think the record was 22 maybe. And, I think the next day or two, I hit the record. Guys in the clubhouse were saying, you got to break the record. So it was relieving to, get it done.
That must have been a lot of fun too, to almost like not even know and then go in and have your teammates being like, you got to do it. And like, heck yeah, you did it. So that must have been just such a really fun feeling for you.
Yeah, for sure. The guys were giving me some crap when I had 9 runs for a while. Got to hit 20, then I hit 20, then the record 22, like you got to break that. So, you know, obviously not trying to hit home runs up there, just trying to have good at bats, take good swings, and those things will take care of themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And it certainly seems to be working in your favor. In 2018 and 2019, you missed time due to some injuries. And then in 2020, the season was canceled due to COVID. So with that, all that extra time you had with being away from baseball, how did you find, or what did you do to stay in shape and continue baseball activities when pretty much everything was shut down?
Right, for sure. Going off the injuries part to start, being I guess a younger guy and my first year or two in pro ball, I didn't really think that like injuries were a big thing. I'm young, my body feels good, I guess take as much time, preparing and doing all those things, taking care of my body as much. So that was a big thing for me going into obviously the 21 season was, taking care of my body, all the small things, because you can't perform if you're not on the field. And then over COVID, obviously with the shutdown, it honestly started working out in my basement. When everything got shut down right away, and I was back home in New Jersey, and honestly nothing was really open for the first month or two. So was working out in my basement and hitting and doing baseball activities at my high school field. So that's how it kind of started off, and then as things started to open up, ended up playing in a college summer league over at Maple Zone, with some other pro guys, which was really cool. Playing against some good college arms, and then obviously some pro guys were playing in there. Some guys getting innings, guys that weren't at the alternate site. Just it was kind of fun. Just kind of playing almost like it almost felt like kind of like high school baseball. You're just out there, no scoreboard, no one's keeping score, you're just kind of playing, everyone's just kind of getting their work in. And then
Yeah.
and then obviously once stuff started opening up towards the end of the summer, back at the facility now as a Sen athlete, just working out there and getting ready for the season.
Yeah, you have to do whatever you can to stay ready and just kind of hope for the best, especially in 2020 when there was so much unknown. But obviously 2021 was very good to you, and 2022 continues to be good to you. You're batting 222 with 15 RBI. What were your goals kind of heading into this season, whether it's long term or short term?
Yeah, for sure. Going into Double A, everyone kind of told me it was going to be a challenge, and it's been a challenge so far. But I'm just trying to take it one day at a time, and put together good at bats. I think coming into the season for me is I don't really like to put numbers on my numbers as goals. I think that kind of limits you in a way. I want to hit 20 home runs, or I want to hit 300, stuff like that. You kind of put a limit on yourself. So for me, it was just to have good at bats and just take it one day at a time. And I think looking up at the stats at the end of the year, those things will take care of themselves.
And we interviewed Katie Krall before the season started. What can you say, what she's brought to the team, and what have you learned from her?
Yeah, Katie's awesome. Got to meet her this year in spring training. Didn't really know anything about her at all. It's different seeing a girl at the field, but we have another one, Bianca Smith, down in Florida, who's awesome as well. And she's really smart, and she's been very helpful to all of us, interpreting the analytics and saying if a guy's got 10 inches of vertical on his fastball. She does a very good job of interpreting those things, and she's been awesome to have in the dugout.
I told her I could listen to her talk analytics all day. I am not a numbers person. Like my degree's in journalism, so math and numbers are so far out of my brain capacity. And just hearing her, I was like, I feel like you're the smartest person in the world when it comes to analytics.
Right? Yeah, she's really smart.
Yeah, for sure. And you participated over the winter in the winter warm-up at JetBlue Park. How did you prepare for that, and what were your major takeaways after that was completed?
Right. Yeah. No, it was a good time for sure. It was just a great opportunity for me being from the Northeast, kind of stuck inside for the winter. It was a really good opportunity for me to get out on the field, I would say, and take batting practice, take ground balls, take fly balls, outside. Those things you can't really do up in New Jersey in the winter months. So it was just a great experience to be around the coaching staff and all those guys just being outside and getting ready for spring training.
I don't know about you, but I'm from Massachusetts, so I understand being inside with the winter weather, but there is nothing like going to Florida or going somewhere warm when it's January, February, March and having it be like 75, 80 degrees.
No, 100%. And the off season pretty repetitive, doing the same thing every day, working out, hitting in the cage, just, it gets repetitive. So it was honestly a great time for me to kind of break up the off season and, get ready for spring training.
Yeah, definitely. And now that, we're 2 months into the season, with Portland, and I guess overall, A, how are you feeling? And B, for the last few months of the season here, what are your personal goals?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know we're already 2 months in, like we said earlier. It's crazy. Time does fly, especially with these 6 game series. All of a sudden it's the end of the week. Here comes the one day off day, but I'm feeling good. I think obviously there's some room for improvement, and I'm working every day on my swing and approach and all those things, studying the pitcher, and just continue doing those things. And like I said, taking it one day at a time, one at bat at a time, because hitting's hard. So hitting's hard. Some say it's the hardest thing to do in sports. So just trying to keep a level head and taking it one at bat at a time, because um those things will take care of themselves. Once you get in kind of in that groove and you start seeing the ball a little better. And I think I'm almost at that point, and then it's on the rest of the way.
That's fantastic to hear. Tyler, thank you so much for your time today and taking time out of your busy schedule and your day to chat with us here on Locked On Red Sox. For anybody out there who wants to support you, whether it's on social media or in Portland, where can they find you?
Yeah, I'm pretty much at Tyler Dearden on all my social media. So appreciate that.
Awesome. Easy enough. So once again, that is Tyler Dearden from Portland Sea Dogs. He's an outfielder, Red Sox prospect. Tyler, thank you once again. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to this special Tuesday episode of Locked On Red Sox with Red Sox prospect Tyler Dearden. This episode was brought to you by Blue Nile. Make your moments sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com, and Locked On Sports listeners get $50 off purchases of $500 or more. This podcast exclusive also includes engagement rings and jewelry. Use code LOCKEDON at checkout. Once again, thank you so much to Tyler Dearden for taking time out of his busy day and his busy schedule to chat with us. It was great insight and great to get to know him a little bit more as he makes his way through the Red Sox farm system. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the Locked On Red Sox podcast right here on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast is where you can find Locked On Red Sox and make us your first listen. Be sure to check out all the other Locked On shows across the network: Locked On Yankees, Locked On A's, Locked On O's. Everyone does such a great job here. And now that you've made Locked On Red Sox your first listen, head on over to Locked On MLB to make it your second listen. Friend of the pod, friend of mine, Paul Francis Sullivan, but just call him Sully, will bring you his unique perspective of major leaguers, both past and present. He provides unique insight and gives you all of his opinions that you will love to hear. Be sure to check back Wednesday as we recap the Red Sox new series. They are finally back home after a stellar West Coast homestand. Jake and I will recap every single game this week for you. You won't want to miss it. Have a great day. We will see you tomorrow. And as always, let's go Red Sox.